Factory activity is back in positive territory. Post a contraction in August, the Absa PMI jumped by 9.2 points, just making it into the safety net as far as expansion is concerned at 52.8 points in September. Sello Sekele, economist at Absa CIB, joins us with a greater perspective on the print. Thank you so much for your time, Sello. Now, the PMI made a big jump from contractionary territory to expansionary territory. Frame the significance of this turnaround.
When you look at the increase, it was quite broad-based, right? And it was mainly led by the business activity index as well as new sales orders. And then in terms of new sales orders, it shows that if you look at comments, right, that demand is quite strong domestically and as well as on the global market. So this is good news. So if it's sustained, it's definitely a good development for the sector.
That's actually quite interesting because a lot of the time you'd see maybe domestic demand lagging export demand. What are respondents actually holding on to here in terms of what they have seen with what's driving domestic demand?
Yeah, so look, it was quite clear leading to elections that people were sitting on top of their hands, waiting to see what's going to happen on the politics side. So it looks like some of those, projects and, pent-up demand is coming through on the local market. So those are some of the drivers for domestic demand.
All right. A broad-based increase, but also you are seeing, for example, the employment index still in a contractionary territory. This is going to take a while for this index to catch up to the improved sentiment in manufacturing.
Yeah, certainly. So for you to see, big improvements in terms of employment, you need to see sustained strength in activity. So then it gives manufacturers confidence that, we can now start increasing payrolls. Because now what we're seeing is that you see on a month-to-month basis, the PMI is up, sometimes it's down. So there's no clear signal. So the day we start to see that clear trend, that's when you will start to see employment also catching up.
Yeah, pretty volatile. But when you look at it from, a quarter to quarter trend, you can kind of see an improving trend there up to the third quarter. But even there, on average, that is still below 50 points. So would you say that as much as there is improved sentiment, more confidence, that we're not really out of the woods yet?
Yeah, we're not. So what the PMI is basically saying in Q3 is that, look, business conditions continue to decline, but at a slower rate compared to Q2. So we're not yet out of the woods. When we start seeing the PMI averaging above 50% on a consistent or 50 basis points rather on a consistent basis, then that's when you would say, the manufacturing sector is starting to come out of the woods.
Yeah, and of course, we know the importance of the manufacturing sector on overall economic growth. So we still can't be popping out a bottle of champagne for the third quarter GDP figures here.
Yeah, so in terms of the third quarter GDP numbers, so far, so good. I think we are likely to see another increase here. Remember, outside of this sector, there are other sectors that benefited from, people withdrawing their money from the two-pot retirement reforms, right? So those kind of things, especially with rate cuts as well as, inflation coming down, should support the consumer and consumption and overall, also boost economic activity. And going back to the point that I made earlier, in terms of investments, there's a lot of companies that are sitting on their hands in Q2, waiting to see what's going to happen. And we know from sentiment indices that we've seen, both from the consumer and business side, that, look, we are likely to see more activity, especially from the investment side.
And just looking at it from, the capability of manufacturers to supply goods, inventories, particularly as you're talking about the kind of drivers for optimism, especially for expected business conditions in the coming months. Would you say that there is a signal that manufacturers are comfortable in terms of being able to meet the increased demand and activity that we are seeing?
Yeah, I think they are fairly comfortable because in a situation where demand is strong, you also see production also being strong, and hence you're seeing that improvement in inventory. So I think they are quite confident, and they should be able to meet those demands.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time and for your insights there, Sello. Much appreciated. That was Absa CIB economist Sello Sekele.